Death seems to be cheaper and cheaper in today's media. When characters die, the question seems to be, how dead are they? But what is responsible for this trend? It's not necessarily new.
In 1891, at the Reichenbach Falls, near Meiringen in Switzerland, Sherlock Holmes finally closed his account with Professor Moriarty, the most dangerous criminal of his generation. The two men were alone in that dreadful place, but the outcome of their struggle was obvious to a trained observer. Holmes had achieved the destruction of his arch-enemy only at the cost of his own life.
Sherlock Holmes died and was resurrected. It is possibly the best example of a character being saved by the fans. Doyle received letters from fans urging him to bring the character back. Some believe that his knighthood may even have been a bribe from King Edward VII to resurrect Holmes.
1,000 apologies, my dear Watson.
At least Sherlock Holmes stayed dead for several years. Comic books are notorious for killing their characters and then resurrecting them. Marvel's X-Men does this especially often. The average time a mutant stays dead is 1 to 2 years. In fact, mutant death is so common that it has become somewhat of a joke. Charles Xavier said, "Mutant heaven has no pearly gates, only revolving doors." This can be attributed to the fact that many different writers have contributed to the X-Men universe. A writer will often resurrect a character that another writer killed. The character they bring back may play a central role in the narrative they wish to tell, or may just be the writer's favorite. These deaths are cheapened by their frequency. Readers scoff when even their favorite characters die. The emotional impact is gone. The same year that the X-Men debuted, a Time Lord with many lives stepped onto the pop culture scene. The Doctor has a unique strategy to cheat death. When he meets a fatal accident or illness, he simply regenerates. Each regeneration has a different appearance and often a different personality. In reality, this means that a new actor depicts the Doctor. In fact, regeneration was introduced so the show could continue after William Hartnell's departure. The process of regeneration still holds emotional value for the viewer. The new Doctor won't have the exact same personality. Each fan has his or own favorite Doctor. This Doctor dies in the regeneration process. Another Doctor Who character is constantly dying. Captain Jack Harkness is unable to die. When he was introduced, he was a human time traveler from the future. He has his own spin-off series called Torchwood. His departure from Doctor Who was accompanied by his first death. He was accidentally revived and made immortal by the Doctor's other companion, Rose. They left him behind because they didn't see him come back to life. Death, for him, is even less dramatic than for the Doctor. He comes back within minutes, sometimes longer depending on the nature of the death. Captain Jack returns to the main Doctor Who series 2 years later. The Doctor is wary of him because of his immortal nature.
In the end, I got the message. I'm the man who can never die. And all that time you knew.
That's why I left you behind. It's not easy, even just looking at you, Jack, because you're wrong.
Thanks.
You are, I can't help it. I'm a Time Lord, it's instinct. It's in my guts. You're a fixed point in time and space, you're a fact. That's never meant to happen. Even the TARDIS reacted against you, tried to shake you off. Flew all the way to the end of the universe just to get rid of him.
So what you're saying is you're, prejudiced?
I never thought of it like that.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
You boys die more than anyone I've ever met.
In Supernatural, it's easier to list the characters who haven't died than the characters who have. There are literally only 19 recurring characters in the show who have never died. Out of these 19, one is a Reaper, a creature who escorts humans to the next life, and the other is Death himself. Minor characters usually stay dead. However, they may be featured in lengthy flashbacks, time travel, supernatural impersonations, or some version of an alternate reality. Jo and Ellen Harville, for example, were brought back in an episode that took place in a reality where the Titanic never sank. The main character's mother dies in the pilot, but she is seen as a ghost, alive in an episode that takes place entirely in the character's mind, and is impersonated by various creatures. Sam and Dean, the main characters, have died countless times. Dean dies over and over again in a Groundhog Day episode called Mystery Spot. The audience sees him die 11 times, but he supposedly died 100 times.
Don't move! I'm just putting the gun down. Dean! Dean, no! Come on, Dean. Who wants Chinese? Dean. Dean? You mean we can't even go out for breakfast? You'll thank me when it's Wednesday. Whatever that means. These tacos taste funny to you? That's enough. Give me the eggs. Leave it, Dean. Give it. No, you give it. No. Let it go. No. Come on. Dean, leave it. Dean? Oh, no. Miss. Hey, buddy. Somebody need a friend? Good boy. Ah! Dean! No. Hey, come on. Not today. Not today. This isn't supposed to happen today. Come on.
Each time he died, the day was reset. This episode is a good representation of the emotional impact of death in media. At first, Dean's deaths are devastating, but after a couple of times, they become humorous. Both Dean and Sam have been sent to hell. Both of these deaths are dramatic and assumed to be permanent. They happen during the season finales and are the culmination of the story arc. Fans then had to wait during the break between seasons to see how the characters avoided the Reaper this time. This built suspense and surely helped improve ratings for the show. Other deaths have been more flippant. For example, Sam died when he was hit by lightning in an episode about a wishing well. He has also been killed numerous times and brought back by angels. In these cases, the death is used as a way to show how powerful their adversary is. So why are death and resurrection so common in modern media? They hold little emotional value anymore. For most characters, the audience is aware that their death is temporary. So what makes writers gravitate towards these plot devices? Audiences appreciate tough, resilient characters. These characters are meant to persevere through anything. The only way that their defeat can be excused is if they or a member of their team dies. The resurrection represents a victory over death itself. They let the audience live the fantasy that mortality is not a fact of life. There are shows that reverse this theme by depicting immortality as a curse, such as Doctor Who. In these cases, it is still a way to calm fears of death. It casts death as the lesser of two evils. Death, with its vastness and uncertainty, is scary, but it is not nearly as bad as immortality. Immortality is certain, it is forever, and it is boring as hell.